Third grade, today we're gonna start our background for our tree project. And for our background, you're gonna make two of them. We're going to do two drafts. So this one is your practice, and then after you're done, next week what we'll do is I'll give you some tips, and then you can try a second background, and whichever one turns out best, that'll be the one that we're going to decorate with marker pens. And we're also going to put our tree on that we drew a couple of weeks ago. So step number one is very simple. You're gonna go to the supply cabinet area, and there's going to be a stack of colored paper. And you're gonna look through it, and you are going to select one color, and as long as it's in the stack, you can use it. So I picked red, and my daughter Jalen picked green. And once you have your paper with pencil, you're going to write your first name, last name, class code. I'm doing mine in marker just because I want you to be able to see it, but you're going to use pencil. So in the middle, you'll write your first name, your last name, and then your class code, which will start with a 3, and then you can look up at the board to write down the letter of your teacher's name. This is going to be the back of your project, and this is the reason why I don't want you using Sharpie marker, because it bleeds through, but you wouldn't be able to see the writing very well in pencil. Okay, so step number 2, you're going to flip it over so that you don't see your name. And you're gonna notice that we have lots of different shapes from you to choose from. What you'll be doing is you'll be using these shapes to decorate the top of your background colored pattern. You can use one shape, you can use 2 shapes, you can use all of the shapes, but where I am going to limit you is on how many colors you can use. So for this project, we just got done watching the contrast video. We're looking for colors that are different from each other. So I'm gonna wanna stay away from anything close to red. Jalen's gonna wanna stay away from anything close to green. So you'll go up to the front of the room and you'll go through the buckets. One of the buckets will be warm colors, one of the buckets will be cold colors, and we're just going to use scraps. The 2 colors that I'm choosing are purple and yellow, and you're going to notice that I folded whatever my scrap was in half, and you're going to see why in just a minute. The colors that Jalen picked are orange and yellow. Again, very different from green. So we'll put these off to the side. You'll start with one shape. I like this egg shape, so I'm going to start with the egg shape. You can grab your scissors. And because other people at your table might want the egg shape or the bean shape, what you'll do is you'll just do a quick bubble cut. That way, if anybody else wants to use this shape, they can. And you can go ahead and do a line cut. The scraps can go in the recycling bin. And you'll choose which color you want to start with. I'm gonna go ahead and start with yellow. Jalen's gonna start with orange. When we cut shapes out of scrap paper, please don't cut out of the center. We can't get as much paper usage if we do that. So you're going to want to start either on one of the sides or the bottom. You want to start anywhere but where your paper is folded. So we don't want to go here. So I like to just start at the furthest part away, and I'm going to have my shape touching the edge of my paper. You'll grab a pencil and you'll hold the shape with one hand and you'll trace with your other. And then with your scissors, you'll go ahead and do a line cut to cut out your shape. Now, I could keep using my egg shape, or I can pick another shape from my stack. And the one I kind of liked was this one. Again, I'm going to quickly cut this shape out. That way if somebody else wants to use this, they can. And then I'll do a line cut. Your scraps can get recycled. And I already have some yellow. Jalen already has some orange. So I'm going to put my yellow paper off to the side, and I'm going to do some purple. So I'm going to place my shape down towards the edge of the paper that's been folded in half where it opens up. I'll grab my pencil and I'll trace. Then we can go ahead and cut with our scissors, and because the paper is folded, we'll get two shapes instead of one. So now that I finally have multiple shapes and I have multiple colors, I don't want to keep cutting shapes because I don't want to cut too many and then have extras. So now that I have shapes in both colors, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to start gluing these down to your background until we fill up the whole space. So you can go ahead and grab your glue, and remember, you just need 1 cup of glue, one for you and your partner to share. And our paint brushes are soaking in water right now. So these are full of water. So if we don't get the water off of these, we're going to be using mostly water and not a lot of glue. And I think that that's why some kids have trouble gluing. So I'm going to wipe off some extra water, and then I'll just use the cardboard to dry my brush. That way when I'm gluing, I'm using mostly glue instead of mostly water. So you'll decide what shape you want to use first. We will dip just the tip, spin the brush so it doesn't drip. And because these shapes are small, it's okay to pull, lift, fill the entire shape with glue. We don't have to worry about doing the outside edge and an X in the middle. Notice that I am gluing on the cardboard. The shape that I'm gluing is on the cardboard, not on my piece of paper. If you try to glue on here, you're gonna get paint, glue stains everywhere. So my shape will be on the cardboard when I'm gluing. Once you have glue, you'll decide where on the background you want it. You'll push and hold, count to 5 slow in your head. And you will rub to make sure that it is not coming off your paper at all. And you're just going to keep repeating this. You'll do the next shape, glue it down, glue it down, glue it down. When you run out of pieces, you can either use the same shapes, different shapes. The only thing is that I picked yellow and purple. I need to stick with purple and yellow until this background is finished. Okay, 3rd grade. Even if you don't finish today, remember at the beginning of next class, you will just keep going, and when you're ready to make your 2nd draft, you'll watch video number 2. So if it's the end of class and you haven't finished any of your extra pieces that you cut, whether they are colored or whether they are your black and white stencils, you will go ahead and you'll just place them on your paper like a lunch tray, and you can take it to the drying rack.